Hello friends, it's Nikki and welcome back to my messy bookshelf. Today we are talking about bookish things that annoy me. I was inspired to make this video because of something that just happened to me, and I thought you could all relate to that. I know I talked about this topic very early on in my channel. I think the first tag video I ever did was the bookish pet peeve tag, but it's been a couple of years since I talked about this topic. And I think I've acquired some new bookish pet peeves, so I'm going to talk about some of these today. So, there are the typical standard things that I think annoy a lot of us as readers. So I'll start with the more obvious ones. We all hate the stickers. What is going on with the stickers these days? I recently ordered some books from thrift books. I mean, recently, as in the last few months. And, normally we have stickers on the front cover, which, is annoying and I can't stand it. I've stopped trying to get all of them off. But when you put it into the shelf, you can't see the sticker. Thrift books, what are we doing? I have stickers on several books on the spine. So now when they're facing out, I see these ugly stickers. And I know this has to annoy you guys too, because it definitely annoys me. So this is one of the more obvious one that I think annoys all of us. The next one, I don't know how annoyed everyone is by this, but it certainly annoys me. I don't have the greatest example of this because I typically donate books that have this annoying feature, and that is a super stiff spine. And this one you could see sort of does. I like a book that will stay open when you open it, whether it's a hardcover or a paperback, because normally I am reading my book in one hand. I will often be in the kitchen over the stove with a book in one hand, so I need something that's not going to hurt my hand to keep open. So, yes, I'm sure a lot of you have that same pet peeve. The next one, I don't think everyone does, because I know not everybody cares about having, a very aesthetically pleasing shelf, and I don't care about that in I don't care about that too much, but there are certain things that I like to be uniform. So when it's the same publisher for a series and they suddenly change up the size and artwork on a book in a series, can someone tell me why? With the same publisher, we have this. It is incredibly annoying, and you can see this is the movie cover versus this. So it annoys me to no end. Alright, the next one is sort of what inspired this video, and that is interruptions when you are reading. There's different kinds of interruptions. Someone can interrupt you in your house when you're at the climax of a book. This happens to me all the time. Happens to me all the time. I have learned to deal with it. I have been interrupted by people who want, in public, what are you reading? Is it good? Oh, what's it about? Oh, what's your favorite book? But the worst is when people interrupt you to talk about nothing. To talk about nothing. I recently had some car work done, and when I went to the waiting room, the waiting area, with my book, prepared to sit there for an hour or so, I opened my book, and someone said hello. And I looked up and I smiled and I said hello. It was an elderly gentleman, and I say elderly because he was elderly. I don't just use that word for anyone that is older than me. But yeah, he was having trouble getting around and stuff, so I thought maybe he was a little lonely and wanted to just chat with everyone who came into that area. So he continued to talk, and we made small talk for, a few minutes. and I went back to my book. And then he kept talking. And then he kept talking. And then he talked some more. I sat there for 45 minutes trying to go back to my book with him telling me the life story of everyone he knew and telling me about his girlfriend from college, his ex-wife. Hello, Bella.
Hi. You told me about it, and it was very funny.
It was very funny because I was ranting. I was ranting when I came home. But yes, I heard the story about his girlfriend from college, how he ran into her with his wife many years later. I heard the life story of his son, his cousin, his cousin's cousin, and for 45 minutes he continued to nonstop talk. And then
she was annoyed.
I was annoyed, yes. And then they came to tell him his car was ready. And it took him quite a bit to get out the door, not because of his mobility issues, but because he was talking the entire time as he was going towards the door. And he got to the door and he came back. He came back and sat down to continue the conversation.
Because he didn't like his car.
Yeah, he wanted them to do something else on his car. And yeah, he came back and sat, and so I sat there for an additional 15 minutes until my car was ready, and he just continued to talk and talk and talk. And I am very friendly, but I am an introvert. So yes, we know, Bella. So we continued to talk and talk. And finally, after an hour, they came and told me my car was ready, and I quickly made my excuses and left. And yeah, I am an introvert, but I am friendly. So someone bombarding you with talk and talk and talk is very overwhelming for someone who is introverted, especially when they are literally enjoying a book that they are reading. So that was very frustrating for me. Very frustrating.
And it was very funny for me.
It was very funny because I was ranting when I came home. Another thing that I recently had happen to me was enjoying a book, but the ending sucks.
Well, bye. I'm going to color.
Go color. Love you. A good book and a terrible ending. You spend all this time with a book, and then the ending sucks. It's like, what did I just spend my whole several days of reading doing for this? So that is very annoying to me as well. And then finally, I will close with the thing that I think I have learned to hate more than anything since coming to BookTube, and that is book snobs. I do not like book snobs. I cannot stand when someone is talking about the books that they read and someone else says, "Oh, I only read this. I only read insert genre here. I only read nonfiction. I only read classics. I only read romantasy," whatever it is. I think that as long as people are reading, we should be encouraging that. And I really hate to see, especially new readers, discouraged by someone sort of scoffing at whatever it is that they're reading. I know for me personally, having worked with a lot of young people, when they were reading, and I'm not saying only young people read these books, but a lot of the young women would constantly be reading romantasy. And I would never even dream of saying, "Oh, I don't like those kinds of books. I don't read that. That's not real literature." I was just happy to see that they were reading on their breaks. So, I could never imagine myself trying to make someone feel bad about what they're reading. So, book snobs. I guess it makes them feel better about themselves and what they're reading because, no place for it. But, yep, I guess I just felt like ranting today. And, yeah. I figured that BookTube would understand why I was so annoyed today. So I thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. Made it to the end of this video. And I would love to hear your bookish pet peeves, and I would love to hear if you share any of these bookish pet peeves with me. And again, I thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.